So now in this video I thought we would look at a relay module that I had floating around. It's actually on the board right there. I meant to use it for a different circuit, but it actually does not work for that circuit. I was thinking of using it. I didn't realize it. This is one of my, I have a number of different relays. This one acts like a latching relay. I have actual latching relays, I think 2 of them. They're not that super easy to get, but any case, you give them a pulse, they go into one position. You give them a pulse, they go into the other position. This is acting kind of like that. So I can go to the positive supply, nothing's going to happen right there. I give a pulse, so it doesn't matter how long I hold this there. I can just press it quick and release it, or hold it there a while, release it, doesn't matter. As soon as it gets a low input, then it switches states. Now, give another low input, it switches states. Again, in either position, doesn't matter if I give a high signal right there. You know, you might want to give a high signal to avoid stray signals or something, maybe falsely triggering it, but that doesn't seem to be too big of a problem. It actually has to be low to switch one state, low to the other. So basically it's latching. You give a signal, it goes into one state, it stays there even when you remove the signal. That's what latching relays do. But latching relays don't need power to do so. It's just a brief amount of power to move the switch from one state or the other. After that, it locks into place mechanically. We don't have that with this relay. This is not an actual relay that latches. You can see it needs current to hold in that position right there. The normally open right now is closed because the coil is energized. If we de-energize the coil, you know, the coil is not using any power and the LED is not using any power. This particular LED needs about 200 milliamps of current. The coil needs about 60 milliamps of current because this is a 5-volt relay right there. If you get a 12-volt relay that's about that size, it probably needs, you know, less than 30 milliamps of current, and so on. Higher voltage relays, they don't need as much current through their coil because they have more voltage. It goes by the power that's being consumed for the most part. So it latched basically into position, but not mechanically. It's being held there electrically. So it's not even really a latch, but it's acting like a latch. And you might be able to call this a bistable relay right there. It's going to hold in position until we change it with a signal right there. That's right, the LED is not wired up. There you go. So we need the signal to change it. So, you know, maybe it's okay to call it a bistable. I'm not sure, but it's acting like a latching relay, although it's not mechanically latching. So we are wasting current. Very important to understand with this particular relay. So now we have a close-up there, so you can see one channel. That means there's one relay, basically. There's like boards with like 4 relays. That would be 4 channel. And there you can see we got normally closed. That's not the one we're using. When there was no current being used by the coil, those 2 are connected together right there. Mechanically, it's a metal on metal contact between those 2. Nothing to do with the electricity going here. This electricity just moves it over to these 2 spots, the mechanical part right there, when the coil is energized. You got those 2 spots right there. So you can see those 3 pins. And actually, yeah, it looks like, yep, that's inside the component right there. It's going over to that spot right there. This is a connection from that spot to that spot. And then that pin, we got a connection to that pin there. So yeah, the common pin looks like that's the middle one back here when it comes to the relay. And then it has the coil, which would be that one and that one. I don't think it matters which direction the current flows. When current starts flowing, does a magnetic, makes a magnetic field, pushes the metal part of some kind from between these 2 to between those 2 right there. So that's normally closed. You know, this would be on without coil power. You apply 60 milliamps of current, it looks like, of current through the coil, and it pushes it over to those 2 spots. Hopefully that makes sense. So normally open. So this is off when the coil is not energized. Now we got 3 pins. You know, there's a little bit of circuitry right there. Probably this little component right there. Maybe if you got a loop or something, you might see a part number. And then this diode is probably for when you cut power from the relay. It doesn't stop passing current instantly. That magnetic field collapses and keeps pushing current. That can make a spark somewhere. Or you can just run the current through a diode. That's reverse biased while power is applied, but gives a return path when you cut outside power. Well, the magnetic field collapses. Hopefully that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't know what the T and G are right there. Oh, so we got V, G, and T. So, yep, that must be positive supply, negative supply, ground, and then T for trigger, you know, where you get the signal. But you can see those same things right down there. T right there for the trigger signal. So you got to power the module right here. This is also where it gets its energy for the coil right there. All that. Nothing to do with the energy over there, although you can use the same power source for the two, or completely different power sources. You can switch this with like 5 volts, and according to this, you know, you can actually switch over on this side, you know, like a 250 volts it says right there. Again, 10 amp current, and then DC I think is usually lower current. I don't, oh, that AC is 250 volts AC. DC, it's lower voltage, that's what it is. About 30 volts right there. DC, but 10 amps either way right there. So, in any case, we got that. So you power the module. This is where you give that signal, as I showed before, and we demonstrated that perfectly fine. So, actually, if I just would have looked at this closer, I would have realized it's not the proper relay for the circuit I was just about to do, because it says bistable right there. Again, when it's locked into one position though, it's locked due to keeping that energized, even though your signal, it's like floating. You're not giving it a signal, or you give it a high input, doesn't matter. It's waiting for low. It only waits for low, and it moves from one spot to the other. But in this spot, the coil is not energized. That spot, the coil is energized. A true bistable or latching relay would not need energy to stay in either position. Just a small amount of energy to change it slightly. So yeah, it's that easy to use. You can see these are made for like smaller wires. We don't need a lot of current. These are just basic breadboard jumpers that I got from a kit. You know, very easy to get. And we could put, these are just, again, regular breadboard jumpers, only they're male on both ends. There's no female right there. These are called DuPont connectors right there. These are right there. And I don't know what these connectors would be called. But yeah, these are standard with breadboards. And, you know, you can see you can put a lot larger wire in there because you can handle up to 10 amps according to this. But I would keep it to 5 amps. Stay about halfway. You know, you can get like brief periods of like 10 amps. But you should aim for like 5 amps or less. And that's my opinion on there, even though it says 10 amps on there. So yeah, that is about it. Again, the LED module right there. We got to the ground, and I just put the switch on the high side of this LED. This is very bright. This has a current limiting resistor right there. We got to keep 5 volts across this relay right there. Or this module, I mean, right there. LED module. It's got the LED there. It's got a resistor that's based on 5 volts. I believe it's 6.5 ohms or something. I can't remember. It's a 1 watt resistor right there. And so yeah, it was a high side switch. We went up there. We could have did it on the low side, exactly the same. It's not polarized. We could have done this and then worked our way from there to the negative supply, a low side switch. Doesn't matter. It will switch the same as long as you use these two contacts right there. If you use the other two, you would get the opposite result. It would be on when the coil is not energized, and then when the coil is energized, it would turn off. But you'd be using power all the time then, either to energize the coil or turn the LED on. But maybe you want that, who knows. So, in any case, this went on really long, but hope you still enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out one of the other videos I'm posting on the screen, and check out links down below. They all help out a lot. I'll see you in the next video.